right. Welcome everyone, and welcome Zara and Katie. So excited to be hosting our first ever uCodeGirl podcast called Meet the TechMakers. So this will be a conversations with software professionals in the hope that we will inspire insight and give insights to the world of software development and developers. So thank you for being here, Sarah and Katie.
Yeah, it's so nice to be here.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Excellent. So both Sarah and Katie are no strangers to uCodeGirl. Katie has been our mentors for the last two winters, STEM mentor, working on a project last year with a group on web development, I believe.
Yep.
Yes, and then this past year was interesting because we went from the winter time where we did an in-person sessions on making app when pandemic happened and we had to go to a virtual setting. But you guys did, your team did amazing, developed an app called, or prototyped, I should say, an app called Next Meal to help connect people who are in need of food resources and the food banks that are providing food resources. So it's really great, and Katie was awesome in helping them reach their milestones. And so thank you. And of course, Sarah has been a jack of all trades, wearing many hats the last year and a half as our intern, as well as our instructor last summer. And even go international virtually to train trainers for our uCodeGirl outreach program in Ethiopia. So they're all both pros, uCodeGirl pros, and I'm so proud of them. And of course, I am Bethlehem, working on uCodeGirl projects. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Katie to give us her intro. Hold on 1 second. Get my questions. So introduce yourself, where you're from, what college did you go to, and where do you work, what's your job, and things like that, or any fun fact as way of introduction.
Yeah, so I'm Katie Wilson. I'm actually from Orange County, California. I went to university at Point Loma Nazarene University in San Diego, California, and I relocated to Fargo just over 2 years ago now. I currently work at Proficient. I'm a senior software engineer there, and yeah, I love it there, and being in Fargo is awesome too, so yeah.
Excellent. California, that is amazing. So it was a great adjustment, I believe.
There, and yeah, I love it there, and being in Fargo is awesome too, so yeah.
Perfect. So excellent. Yeah, California, that is amazing. So it was a great adjustment, I believe.
There, and yeah, I love it there, and being in Fargo is awesome too, so yeah.
Perfect. So I think I'm getting echo, so I'm going to pause for a minute. All right. So equally impressive is Sarah. So I would let you introduce us to you.
Oh, hi. So I'm Zara, as you can tell. I am from the city, so right now I'm in Brooklyn Park. I went to Concordia College. I just graduated in May. Pretty kind of sad about it, but kind of not because I get to move on to other things. But also, I'm kind of sad that I leave back like all the school and the people and everything. I was a computer science major and a business minor. Right now, I start my new job on Monday. I'm going to be a technology analyst with Wells Fargo in Minneapolis. I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah.
So what does a technology analyst does?
So for my role, we're going to be focusing mostly on project management and product management. So we're going to be dealing with the software and making sure that we're going to be working mostly in the Minneapolis area. So whatever laws and policies or whatever that has been put into place, we're responsible to relay that information to the programmers and whoever, like HR, to make sure we have those necessary changes within our softwares, our applications, and whatever. So we're responsible for that. That's the team that I'm going to be working on.
It's pretty impressive, Sarah. I'm so proud of you. Well, Fargo, this fall you were a graduate and now you are talking professionally.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. So amazing.
Yeah.
So I will follow up with you then, Sarah. When and how did you decide to study computer science, or how did you get to that path?
So originally, going to university, I wanted to study geology. That's because where I'm from in Liberia, they just discovered oil, and we had this whole big oil boom. So I was like, oh my God, this would be a great thing to get into to like help develop the country in a way, so that like these resources can go to the right place, so that we can in a way develop the country. So when I came to the U.S., I went on a college tour in Wisconsin. And I met with a geologist, and he said, so what are you going to do? I'm like, oh, I want to like be involved in the oil business. I want to dig and all this. And it's like, that's like one in the like million chance. So if you don't get that, the only other path is you have to become a professor. And I was like, I know I don't want to become a professor. So then I started looking into computer science, because even when I was little, I was always the one that my mom, if the TV gets problems, my parents would be like, hey, come and fix this. And all I had to do was just turn it on and turn it back off. But everybody thought it was so crazy. They were like, oh my God, technician. So I was like, well, and I love phones too. So I love phones. So I was like, well, if I love technology so much and I love fixing things, computer science is the best path to go into, because you get to problem solve every day, you get to work with technology, you get to work with people, which I am a people person. If you ask anybody at school, I am a people person. So that was a huge deciding factor for me. And going to Concordia too, like the professors, it's such a tiny major, and that you get to know the people really well, because you take like mostly all your classes together, you get to know the professors really well. So that just made it easy to go through college and everything. And I never one day like doubted like, why did I become a computer science major? Because I really enjoy it.
That's amazing. From geology to a technology. Yeah. And yeah, you can solve problems. All the great points you raised on why you want to study computer science and be in the field, making a difference, and deciding on, this way and the other, how products are developed. That's really awesome. How about you, Katie? What's your path to software engineering?
Yeah, so my middle school actually had like an after-school program for coding. So I decided to do that. I don't really know why, but I decided to do that. From there, it's just something that my high school also had a program, so I decided to do that. And it was something that I just enjoyed, and I was like, well, I'm good at this. I like it, so I decided to major in it in college. And I also, while in college, decided to double in mathematics. I've always been drawn to those two fields just ever since I've taken them being younger. And I think it's one of those things that, not everyone who did that program with me in junior high or even in high school decided to go on to computer science, but it was something we got exposure to, and we're able to have more informed choices going from there. So it's something that I always found myself drawn to once I started it. But I don't think if I had started it or even tried it when I was that age, I would have ended up here, but I'm really glad I did.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so great because you mentioned early exposure to it and that you seek it out because you knew somehow or maybe parents or educators let you know that you're good at um,
Yeah,
maths.
it was just something I enjoyed throughout while I was doing it. So like,
And how was it like in high school? Were there other students, other young women, girls
yeah,
in that
it was
room?
kind of a normal class. There was definitely fewer females. So kind of a normal computer science class, even in college, there's just a fewer females, but um, hopefully that's changing. But yeah, I think we had like 20 kids in my computer science class, and probably 4 or 5 of them were females. Kind of changed throughout the years of the dynamics, but
Yeah, that's a good number to have really for that's in California. But what make you were all of them continued on the in the computer classes throughout high school, or what makes you stick in it when you were maybe there were times when it was difficult maybe um,
yeah, there's
first
definitely times where it wasn't, it was an extra class I had to take at school. So there's times where it's like, well, if I just want to have an easier schedule in high school, like, why am I doing this? I could be out, having fun at the mall or whatever. But overall, I knew it was something that, like, I was good at and I wanted to kind of pursue, and it was something that helped me grow and figure out what I want to do in the future. And yeah, there's times where it's tough, and I could have been doing more fun things, but I did have friends in the classes, and it was good to get to know other people. And overall, it was a really good experience, and I'm really glad it's something that I did. Yeah.
And you touched on those points that it's something that you enjoy and you're good at, and it's what the world needs. So it's like the trifecta of things. That's when in the workplace, you'll feel like you are making a difference when you're good at and you tried it and you found that you like it. So that's fun. So what would be a typical day like for you, Kitty, at work?
At work. So right now it's a little different because we're all working from home. But a typical day for me is I normally, log into my computer around 8 a.m. I check my emails for, a little bit, respond to anything crucial. And then depending on, my day, I usually have a few meetings a day. So usually like 1 to 2 hours, which is something I didn't want to be stuck in meetings all day. So that's something I like. But I also really like the fact that at my job, they really encourage us to have like relationship type conversations. So if I need help with something, I don't have to go set up a meeting. I can just ping or get on the call or whatever I need with, one of my coworkers rather than having to have something set up and organized. And so that's something I really like, is kind of those informal conversations where you kind of get to know your coworkers as you work with them. So my day, so I'll get started on emails, maybe have a meeting in the morning, and then I'll usually start programming at some point. Not every day do I program. At my last job, every day I programmed. So I had a job in California for 2 years, and every single day at that job I was programming for sure. This job's a little bit more diverse. I work in Salesforce currently, so some days I program, some days I'm making flows and charts, and other days I'm practically just interacting with my customer. I work for Proficient. We work in Salesforce, and through them I consult with Lincoln Electric. So some days it seems like all I'm doing is talking to Lincoln Electric and figuring out what they need to happen and what we need to do for them. Mm-hmm. But other days I hardly talk to anyone, and I'm nose down in code. And so every day is different too, which is nice. It's always a different problem. It's always a different thing. I find that I learn a ton. There's always something new. So it's good.
Yeah, it keeps you alive because it's always something new and changed. Sounds like you have also a good mix of coding experiences and meeting people and as well as collaborating, working with others. And that's what I want to emphasize is that it coding is not, or software development is not a one person job at work. It's a team. Talk about the engineering department and how a typical product development looks like with all the team members and different professions that work together to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, even outside the engineering department, it starts from project managers who have to go get requirements and, client consultants who talk to our clients and figure out what they need. And then it kind of maybe we'll go to a designer and they're going to have to design, what's needed. A lot of times the designers, at least at my company, will come and talk to the architects or the software engineers to make sure that what they're designing lines up with what's possible, which is really good to have because sometimes that mix can be a little difficult. And so it kind of, ebbs and flows, and then we'll start getting more work and, sometimes it's two people programming in parallel and, you really have to communicate about how things connect. Other times you're doing I'll do a lot of the programming, and in Salesforce, there's a side that's more clickable, and we'll have someone do that side and someone do kind of the programming side. And so that side kind of sometimes needs to be done first, or this side needs to be done first. And so you really have to be in constant communication of, I'm working on this today, you can work on it later today, or I'm doing this and it'll be ready for you at this time. And at least at my company, it's never been you missed your deadline. It's always been like, hey, how can I help you? What can I get done for you? When do you need this by? Like, let's work together and, try and make the best product possible in the fastest time possible. And I have other people above me, architects above me, who help me, especially as like a little bit younger of a programmer. They were able to advise me on how I should code something, give me advice, make sure I was doing things in correct ways or most efficient ways and stuff. So that was really nice too.
That's great. It is a supportive environment, it sounds like, and you're getting a ton of collaboration. It's not an individual sport, it's a team sport. And that is similar to my experiences as well. So that's really good that you get help when you need it. So I'll come back to Sarah and to talk about college a little bit. And for people who aspire to study computer science in college, what was college like? And were there frustrating points in computer labs, or how about collaborations there and support you get, as well as what kept you going during those difficult times?
So Concordia was pretty small, and the computer science program was smaller, as I said before. So it was really nice that almost all my computer science classes that I took, I had one person there that we started at the same time. Like, we started the first class together, second class together, whatever. We took it in the same way. So it was really nice to have those people because we all went through the same struggles. There are times, because I lived in Erickson, and the business center is where the computer science classes usually are. And there are times when I'm just sitting there and a computer science, somebody that I know that's in my class will come up, and they're also struggling on the homework that I'm struggling on. And it's just nice to have that small group of people, because then maybe they'll come over and we can't figure it out. We're like, oh, we know Jason, and Jason's a computer science engineer, he's in our class, so let's call Jason up. So then, like, the collaboration and the help that we got from each other trying to figure out a problem was really helpful when it came to that, because the program was so small. So we like knew each other and we worked really well together, and the professors too were really, really helpful. You could literally walk into their office, like Damien, I think you know Damien, you could walk in his office and ask anytime for help. So it was really nice. I don't know how it is at big colleges. I'm gonna assume it's kind of the same, because within fields like computer science, people tend to form cohorts, because it's nice to have help and just collaborate with other people, because you don't know everything. You can get help from other people too with something that you don't know, and they don't know everything, so they can also get help from you. So yeah, that was just my experience. Yeah.
How many were you female students?
In my class, in the graduating computer science class, I think I was the only female. I
How
think
many?
so. I think there are about maybe 40 to 50 computer science that graduated this year that I think that I know of. But if it was not only me that was the only girl, maybe there's one more person, but it was not a very big group of girls. I know the class coming up this year might have a little bit more, maybe 5 to 10, but I think either I was the only one or there was another person. But it was really helpful. The guys there, like I said, we went through like every stage of the classes together, so we knew each other really well. They're really helpful with all that, and I actually became really good friends with most of them. So yeah.
Yeah, great. It would be interesting to be the only one, but then to have that confidence and
Yeah.
to going and not be intimidated,
Mm-hmm.
but then have that collaborative and supportive environment would really be great, because
Yeah.
sometimes what we think inside um, than what the reality is. Sometimes it is the reality, so I don't want to sugarcoat it. Sometimes it is difficult, but I think if you are um, in self inspired and you know what you're going and what you're doing, when you want to go, it is always a good experience and support is available.
Mm-hmm.
So, Katie, what inspires you about the future in technology?
I think just that everything, it's a field where you keep learning. I love to try new things and just push myself. Um, Clearly moving from California to Fargo, North Dakota, pushing myself a little bit. So I think that's what really keeps me interested in computer science, is it's never going to be the same as it was. So that's one of the things that
You
keeps
have
me.
to take more certifications for the Salesforce.
Yeah, I have to take more certifications, and there are more certifications I can take. But even just past that, technology is always being updated, whether I have to study for it or not. I always have to keep my skills fresh in what I do each day. There are always new releases of every type of software, Java, Salesforce, whatever it is. And there's new techniques and new ways to document and there's always just new things in programming that, yeah. And I think also a big thing for me is the people that I work with currently are just awesome. So I always want to be a good team player, just because I want to help out my teammates that are just fantastic. So those are probably the two biggest things for me.
Awesome. Oh, so Zara, what do you look forward to your new job now?
I know the circumstances in which we're studying is not the best, but I'm really excited that I still have a job, which is very important, especially with everything that's going on. So I'm excited just about the fact that I have a job, like the first big girl job. And my manager is really helpful. She reaches out all the time. And I think she's going to make the transition into my role really easy for me. So I'm really excited about that, because we're going to be dealing with a lot of things that I haven't worked with before. So I really appreciate how supportive she is, how she relays information really clearly. And I'm just really excited to have my first big girl job, basically. No matter the circumstances, I'm still happy. So yeah, just really, really excited.
Yeah, a lot of learning, and that's a good thing, and growing
Yep.
from it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's part of the welcome to the world of adults.
Yeah.
So fun. So I have one last question left for each one of you, and that would be, if you really think about it and be reflective for your younger days. And your younger days could be in middle school, your younger days could be in high school or in college. What advice would you give for an aspiring computer science, computer engineering, or other computing jobs? Somebody who is interested. Um, just if you think about the real authentic advice, what would those advices be for a younger self? So I'll start with Sarah.
Okay. I think I would say be more curious. I think that's what I would say. I was very curious. Like I would always not take things at the face value. I always had to know more. But I don't think I was curious enough because, as we all know, computer science, there's so many different aspects of it, and you could keep going and not learn everything that there is about computer science. And I wish I kind of went the extra mile because it was late in my junior, senior year in college when I realized that there's another other side of computer science that I really, really like, which is web development. And I hadn't gone into it just because we don't have that concentration at Concordia. I really hadn't looked into it further than what was in the curriculum at Concordia. And so when I realized that, I was like, oh, I could have like learned this like a couple of years ago if I had been more interested in like looked more to see what was out there and what I liked more, but I only capped it at what was offered at Concordia and a little bit more. So I would just say, be more curious, look out. There's so much more than computer science than people talk about, so much more. And you never know what you're gonna like. So the more you keep looking, the more you find what you really, really like, and the more you can enjoy like your job. It's not even gonna be a job anymore because you enjoy doing it so much. So I would say be curious, be more curious.
That's a good advice, curious. How about you, Katie?
I think I have two. So I have one for like younger, probably like middle school, high school, and that is to just try things. Just try different things, whether it's even computer science or non-computer science related. You never know what you're gonna like. You never know what's actually gonna fit into your wheelhouse or what's gonna work for you. So just be open. If your mom sticks you in something, just try it. You never know. Or if you see something, you're like, oh, maybe, like, go for it. Why not? And then my other piece of advice is kind of a little bit older, but it's just like, even in middle school too, I guess, but it's just to believe in yourself. Like, you can do things that you don't even realize you can do. And you might think that other people might have all the answers. They don't. So just have confidence in yourself. You can do things that you don't even know you can do. And yeah.
Yeah, right on. Those are the be yourself, dare to be different, explore. You don't have to figure everything out. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. So I would say, yes, the same thing. I echo, be curious, explore things. The worst thing is that you have left something unexplored that you could be good at. So in computer science, it might not be for everything, for everybody, and it doesn't have to be your career, but playing with it, exploring it, and gaining something from it that will help you along the way in the future, because the future is technology centered in everything that you do, from architecture to zoology and everything in between. So we leave it at that, and thank you so much for your time and your insights, and for your support of uCodeGirl, and for your dedication to be women in tech. And so thank you.
Thank you. That was fun.
Thank you.
Well, good night.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.